Sunil, how are you doing? Good to have you today. And I thought we'll very quickly catch up on a few aspects. I think it's good for us to also put this in front of our viewers. We obviously launched our partnership, the Smart Carrot Quint partnership, a couple of days back. Inked it, I think, a week back, and then on social it was launched yesterday or day before. So yeah, congratulations to all of us, and we look forward to the entire partnership in the months and years to come. I'll start off by asking you, Sunil, what does this mean for you, and what does this mean for your organization, Quint?
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. I think this association is very critical for us and us also for the industry. First of all, I'm very excited also with this partnership with Smart Carrot. The partnership has provided Quint with an end-to-end capability to deliver the entire customer success journey from an end-to-end perspective, right? So we earlier had capability on maybe awareness, customer success assessment, but now with the tool interface and the automation interface that we have from Smart Carrot, we're able to actually do implementation of the entire journey, and that is a capability that our customers are actually looking forward in the current context. Um, and and that's a pretty quite an interesting concept where we are able to bring their service management experience, our IT experience, your IT service management experience, and design industry aligned processes and automate them using the Smart Carrot platform of CS.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you mentioned, the structure, and I know we have discussed and you have shared with us, and I've seen this in a few meetings also. You have this entire framework and structure around customer success, which is developed by Quint and very specific to the clientele which you serve. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that particular structure?
Yeah, we've been working on this CS framework for the last 3 4 years, and we've now created an industry-ready four-stage, structure covering some of the key challenging areas that today, the IT service providers are facing. And these four are starting from customer acquisition. How do you acquire a customer? How do you retain a customer? So customer retention is the second one. Customer expansion. How do you expand the customer? Upsell, cross sell, and then how do you grow the customer, right? So these are the four aspects. If I want to just dwell a little bit, when you acquire a customer, one of the critical component becomes onboarding and transition. And this has been a challenge in the industry, where we are not able to add value to the customer right from onboarding. And that's the intent that we created this framework, where we could focus on onboarding and transition and make sure that it's done the right way, it's done in the industry best procedure, best practice way, and it aligns to the value add that we want to deliver to the customer. And when you go forward, when you want to look at customer retention, this is where our business as usual, the IT operation takes over, which is where ITIL and ISO 20000 and project management and all the techniques which we use for business and usual kind of comes over. And we retain the customer, we make the customer happy, we make sure that we deliver as per whatever KPA that we have assigned, and kind of give one step above. And if you're able to retain the customer, that's one of the critical elements of managing the entire life cycle of customer success. Moving forward, customer expansion. Again, everybody wants to grow business. They want, and this is where things like customer experience, your net promoter score, how you're able to upsell, how you're able to cross sell within the existing account is very, very critical. And everybody's grappling towards that. That's our dream, to kind of expand into a customer. And last but not the least is, how do I make sure the entire customer success journey is done by growing into other accounts? So I use my successful customer as a reference and make sure that I take that example, take the learning, and
Yep.
make sure that it gets delivered in multiple accounts. So that's the four stages that we have put into that framework.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm very excited as well as we go along this process, Sunil, because a lot of these obviously resonate with Smart Carrot, and there's a lot of sync between the two organizations. Now, how do you foresee the next steps really from a near term as well as a midterm sort of future standpoint?
Yeah, now that's where the exciting part is, because the framework is incomplete without the automation component, right? And that's where Smart Carrot really strengthens our relationship with the customer and customer's customer. Smart Carrot has bring the platform that Smart Carrot brings is a very intelligent CS automation platform, which absolutely aligns with our IT service management concept that we are trying to go with the customer. The tool uses data, the tool uses AI. It is prescriptive as well as predictive, which is a very critical component, and a combination of our design playbooks and automation of playbooks plays a very critical role in executing the entire customer success journey. So I'm looking forward to taking this to our customers very, very soon. We are in the process of aligning the teams together, as you know, and I think within the next few weeks we should have the framework of how we should take this to the market together.
Wonderful, wonderful, Sunil. I think makes a lot of sense. So, I'll go a little bit sort of paraphrase some aspects of what you said and look at it from a smart carrot lens as well. And 100% agree with you. I think that's you mentioned the framework. I think the relevance to smart carrot from our lens is the framework itself, the way you mentioned it. I think you have four or five pillars there of onboarding, of steady state operations, and then of retention, expansion, and then obviously advocacy and expanding that to get more accounts. I think it's 100% in line with what Smart Carrot CS platform provides, and even today, right? Now, the relevance for partnership with an organization such as Quint is because from our standpoint, the set of skill sets we bring to the table is very, very complementary. We are a technology platform, and we have two product lines. One is the customer success platform, and the other, which is an offshoot from the customer success platform, which we launched recently independently, is the Playbooks. Now, for us, the Playbooks became very important because it's the most used functionality in Smart Carrot, and we felt it allows for more roles within the organization and more operational efficiencies to be structured using the Playbook standalone. It also offers us an entry point into a lot of our customers. Now, when we launched the Playbook standalone version, the relevance of engaging with organizations who provide the consulting around the processes and the best practices becomes very important because a playbook essentially is a digitized version of a standard operating procedure, which is really an output which your team and your organization and your clients do all the time. You create SOPs all the time, but the challenge becomes from your standpoint, how do you operationalize it? And from our standpoint, when we go and try and pitch operational efficiency or the CS platform overall for the customer journey, we get at times responses around our processes are not mature enough, or we don't know what we don't know. We don't know how to approach this. Can you help us with setting up the processes in the first place, and then we can start using your platform. So not having the process maturity and the best practices ingrained is really a barrier for us to grow at times. We don't want to get into the consulting business. We don't have the skill sets nor the vision to do that. But you do. So I think it becomes a very, very dovetailed sort of relationship where without the upfront process maturity, Smart Carrot doesn't have enough to show value. And likewise, from a consulting standpoint, you are able to now align more to your customer's outcome. So for me, it's very, very exciting to be doing this with you and your team, Sunil. So like you said, we look forward to the engagement overall. You're on mute, Sunil.
Yeah, I want to add one more point to that is, if you see, and you talked about consulting, and I want to just emphasize on the playbook and how it plays a very critical role is, when we go to a customer, the customer says, look, there are some issues. Either my uptime is an issue, my capacity is an issue, my client is not happy. So
Correct.
can you find out? So one of the things that we start with is do an assessment. We figure out from their IT landscape which practice is not working. Is it more the way they manage incidents, or the way they manage problems, or the way they manage the capacity? There are so many practices. Is it a security an issue, etc., etc.? Once we figure out what's wrong, then we create a set of best designed procedures and SOPs, as you said, for them, which are industry ready, which are industry certified, like ITIL 4 aligned or 3 aligned, or whatever that may be. And then we hand that over to them, or hand that over to their tool team to automate into their existing service management tool. And I think that's where is the gap that we are trying to bridge with the association with Smart Carrot. Because the playbook that you talked about is the real execution of the design that we create. And if we do not help the customer to execute the way we planned it, it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
It really doesn't work. So the triggers that we need for making sure that the process works as per the design is what playbooks actually help or can help do with the customer. And I think that's the crux, because it
Yeah.
sounds simple that playbook is a contextualized version of a process design, but it's way more than that.
Yeah.
It's automated. It kind of triggers it. It can it can do a lot more
Yeah.
than what we kind of think as of today. So that's where the automation, the predictability, the future planning is very critical, and that's what I think excited us initially to kind of do the alignment. And then as we were debating more and more, we realized the platform is way bigger, is kind of can help us do the end-to-end mapping into the customer success journey, and not just the automation of the process part.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Absolutely. I think you said it very well. So even if we take, one of your buckets like onboarding, for example, and the clientele which you serve, that process itself or bucket itself manifests into multiple sub processes and activities with many, many different roles involved. So there is work transition to happen. There is resources to be filled into that account. There is, finance invoicing to start. There is a lot of asset allocation. There is, tons of stuff happening. So onboarding in itself, whilst the word is easy and you just think I'm onboarding the customer, it's also onboarding resources. It's onboarding your assets. It's onboarding, your best practices. It's including a lot of roles, cross-functional roles. Now, customer success faces this challenge, and organizations faces still overall that there are multiple silos of data and information and resources across organizations. So the playbook, and I'm just paraphrasing what you're saying, for us is one way to break all of that in a very simple manner. And along with consistency and the ability to scale these best practices or SOPs, call it what you want, it's also a way to bring multiple roles and functions together and drive accountability. So now you are pushed. You mentioned predictable. It allows you to know, what's likely to happen going ahead. It also gives you some amount of accountability to be pushed across these different roles. So in this situation, I have to do ABCD, and you always run these projects with your customers and then create, this is what should happen. How do you ensure that this happens and it happens every time, is where the automation piece comes in. So we are also very, very excited, Sunil. So we'll look forward to our next steps here. As you said, the teams are getting aligned. We're getting to know about each other's services a little bit better. It's everything to look forward to in 2024.
There's another aspect which is also very important. So when we talk to the IT providers, and they are delivering the customer services, right?
Yeah.
One of the challenge they have is they have too many accounts to manage, right? So a normal tier 1 or tier 2 service provider would typically manage between 100 to 200 accounts. Some are smaller accounts, some are larger accounts, right? The typical challenge they face is that how do I know the health of each account, which accounts to focus on? Because we are looking at retention, we're looking at
Yeah.
the expansion, we're looking at growth, but you can't focus on all 200. Which one is doing good, which one is automated, we leave it on their own, which one needs my attention? And that's a big question, and that is the question that we are trying to answer with the alignment and with the platforms. That if I look at my 120 accounts,
Yeah.
I can see these are my green accounts. These are the accounts which are doing good. The client is happy. The NPS score is high. The discussions that we are doing, the sentiment analysis is good. In the chats is nice. Then these are the orange accounts which are in the sideline. They are good right now, but if you don't focus on them, they'll become red and probably will not
Yeah.
will not be able to retain, or we'll have to put more efforts. And the red ones are already gone. We have lost them. They're unhappy. The last few months, the sentiment analysis, the discussions are all negative. So it gives them control, and I think that's a very critical element for a business head,
Yeah.
right? To figure out what accounts to focus on, how much to focus on, and how to grow their account. And I think that's the turner. That's why the platform is so critical for them to look at and manage. And with your open standards, you can kind of talk to any tool. You can get the data, so from any tool, and then basically we are representing the data in the right way so
Right.
they can make informed decisions. So it's a pretty strong, I would say, case for any provider which is delivering IT for the customers to kind of have a look at it, align with it, and run with it to make sure the customer success journey kind of is
Right.
successful.
Right. And I think, to probably end this discussion for this session, one thing I'd want to add, Sunil, is if you look at the framework which you mentioned, which Quint has created, and then you look at the synergy with the Smart Carrot platform and the CS platform as well as the independent playbook. It also allows for organizations to do this incrementally. You can actually take a pillar at a time. A lot of organizations struggle with deploying the whole thing together, and we've seen it in our deployments also. I'll try and do everything together, it becomes difficult. Now, if you have a framework, a structured way of approaching this, which you do, and your framework allows, you can do it incrementally, and then start by taking a pillar at a time, and then mature the process over a period of time. I think that also is a very exciting thing to look at, that let's tick mark one process or one pillar at a time, and go about it doing that way. So all in all, Sunil, very, very exciting times hopefully for us ahead, and we look forward to a very successful 2024 with you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, we are planning, to make sure that this solution, a joint solution, is presented to most of our accounts, most of our customers, and I'm very excited and I'm very hopeful that this solution actually is the need of the hour for them, and we should be really able to start implementing this together with Smart Carrot.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks, Sunil. I'll catch you soon. Okay.